where Max Planck, Werner Heisenberg, Niels Bohr, Albert Einstein, all the guys who were involved in the quantum physics, they revealed by accident that matter and light have the same characteristics. Spiritual blindness is an ignorance where people cannot see or be aware of the spiritual world. And unfortunately, almost the whole mankind, more than 95%, is in that situation, only believing the material is everything and there is nothing more than that. But there have been already sciences as quantum physics which could show that all the matter has at the same time not only characteristics of matter but also characteristics of light. And the opposite, light, has also characteristics of matter. And from that time, about 100 years ago, where Max Planck, Werner Heisenberg, Niels Bohr, Albert Einstein, all the guys who were involved in the quantum physics, they revealed by accident that matter and light have the same characteristics. And that at the end, there's a famous speech from Max Planck where he said he must, after all of his research, say that there is something like a spirit who is steering everything. There must be something behind everything. But behind that must be kind of entities. And then he said, okay, entities have also something from which they come from. So at the end he must say, maybe I really must say that and name it what all cultures all over the world have named it, and that is God. And from that now on, physics is over and we have to give it in the hands of philosophy again. But unfortunately, nothing happened. There is a branch called quantum philosophy, but whole research, they are more or less pushing it in the corner of parascience. They don't accept it, even if there is enough evidence from the physics itself. But from that on, physics changed to atomic physics. And what happened then was the Second World War, with the knowledge of the atomic bombs. So then they use the physics for something bad, and still they are more in atomic physics than in quantum. There are some researchers nowadays still, like Anton Zeilinger, which are in quantum physics, but there are not so many, and not so many new things are revealed. Sometimes they found something new, but basically since that time, about 100 years ago, there is not happened so much more in the quantum physics. But there are other sciences also, neuroscience, psychology, which develop all the time and which can give evidence that there is much more than the material. But still people don't believe in soul, and especially not in God and in spirituality, in nothing. Unfortunately, and the religions don't help them. All religions say that. You can find it in the Old Testament, in the New Testament, in the Quran, in Buddhism, where the word ignorance comes from. And with this ignorance and with this lack of believing in the spirit, it's not a belief. There is evidence on the one hand, and also you can give effort in experiencing this spiritual world. And every spiritual person knows they feel even much more than normal people. They feel even emotions from others through, through being a wave of light. And then you feel emotions from others. Other people even don't know that they have emotions. They don't want them. They don't accept them. I am not emotional. I am not an emotional person. I am absolutely mental person. And they don't believe that even emotions exist and they have them. Sometimes they are angry in everyday life, but that's not an emotion after their definition. After their definition, emotions are only sadness and anxiety, more the weak emotions, but anger for them is normal. And when they go in contact with a spiritual person, they wonder why this person knows about their suppressed emotion. And sometimes they know even also, but they don't show it. But mostly they are unconscious for them. They have suppressed them very well, so that they are really a mental person. but that doesn't make them even more healthy, because only being suppressed doesn't help to really overcome the emotion. There are many other methods, which you also can find on this channel. And there are also mental problems with the spiritual people, not that they are more of the risk to get mental disorders, that also, but they have basically a lack of abilities which comes through this blindness. They can't, for example, read figurative language. When they read a poem or any other thing like that, they can't read out the deeper message of it. So they also can't deal with scriptures. When they, for example, in the Bible, read a parable which has a deeper meaning beside, there's the historical meaning, then okay, Jesus said that, and then this is fine for them. For them it's only a good night story for children. But if they don't see the deeper aspect, they can't have really a use of the Bible. You can use scriptures also for kind of a therapy. There is a very deep dimension in scriptures which they never can grasp when they are only in their mental and they are not grasping the spiritual world. Then they will also not understand deeper meanings of things and of any scriptures and books and poems. For them, they have their knowledge, they learn that at school, they learn that from education, upbringing, and they believe that's all. They never come to the point of wisdom. Or some even think when they have all the knowledge all over the world, they study many things, and they believe when they will come to one point when they have all the knowledge, then they will have wisdom. But wisdom is not about quantity, wisdom is a quality. Wisdom is including compassion, and to understand compassion and to help others and so on. This is an absolutely totally different understanding than you can grasp with any knowledge which you can get from university. Religions try to transfer this knowledge, but it was only a try. It has not happened that at any time in any culture all the people got enlightened from the wisdom of their religion. So actually they shattered. Unfortunately, of course, it was a good try, but only very few people can benefit from that and are able to grasp the deeper meaning of scriptures and so on. And this, the Dalai Lama counts as mature, spiritual mature. You have maturity. But the normal people, which are not grasping that, they believe they have maturity when they are ready with university, when they have their driving license, when they have their first child, and then they think, okay, now we have everything, now we are mature. Okay, we must also buy a house, but when we have the house, then we are mature. They have only these things what they are educated for. And the whole system, including the upbringing, because mostly the parents are of the same ignorance, they all tell from the very beginning, it's often easy to calm the children if you give them the phone. Or if you give them any screen or any gaming console, and when they are playing or watching something, then they are calmer and not disturbing the parents. But with this way, you make the habit that these people already hang on the screen so much. And of course, the overstimulation is working from the very childhood. And then people wonder when they are not aware at school, when their children are bad at school, because of course school appears boring to them, because they are already junkies of their screen. They are addicted very early. And when there's the addiction and suddenly you come to school, and in the school the teachers say you have to leave your phones at home and your tablets and these things, you're not allowed to use that here, then of course they are bored. Only a person is standing there talking, and then they have no concentration, and so there's this downward spiral. And what follows is that you go in contact with these people when they are adult and mature in their belief what they are, and they only tell people from their work and things which they have bought. I have now this new thing and this is so good, or this new car. sometimes they also tell from their family, even if you don't know the family, and they tell you from people which you are not knowing, but they tell only from their material life and from their relationships, most of them. But they are forgetting their true problems. Often they have problems in the family or with any family member, but they will not talk about that. They have often mental problems themselves, but they don't reveal that. They don't even want to know for themselves. Sometimes even people don't know that they have a disorder. But when they know, they are embarrassed. They will not tell you. But you, when you are a spiritual person, you see that there is something, this person has something. And this person hides it after talking too much about boring things like their work, their family, their car, their things. Oh, I have a new phone. Nobody's interested if someone has a new phone. But for them it's so, they just want to blah blah, because there is already so much noise in their head, because they have never learned to calm the mind, and they can't even bear their own noise in their head. That's also a reason why they are not aware that maybe there is a mental disorder already or something, because the noise is so loud. The noise is the main disorder, actually, from which all what they call disorders arise, but the main disorder is the always talking mind. And they don't even want to hear that the mind is talking all the time. That's why when they are already overstimulated, they need even more stimulation and more stimulation and more stimulation, and they never calm. Because when they calm, they are not calm. Their mind is still talking, and that's causing fear. And they don't want to see the fear. And that's why they overstimulate more and more. And they don't want to know. But when someone stops and breaks out, then it's uncomfortable, because all the negative stuff is there, which the mind tells. And then, of course, it can happen that really a disorder is in between. But it can be healed when, of course, someone is aware that these thoughts are there and goes all the treatment first of accepting. And when it's already accepted, it will be easier to look at it. And when you become the observer, then the healing can begin. And all the good meditation methods. But until this person's come to that point, this will take a long time. Some people never grasp it in their whole life, and they just run through the life, always overstimulating, until they run into their deathbed. And that's very sad, actually, that most of the people do so. And on their deathbed, if they have still little time and calm a little bit, because maybe they are not able to use the phone anymore or something, they come to the idea that they have not really lived, and that really is sad. There are some studies where they have asked old people what they wanted to do in life and would do if they could start from new. And many said, I have done the wrong things. I have never taken enough time for the family. I have never done this and done that. I was always hanging on the TV. In previous times it was the TV, now it's the phone. But they could have stopped it. Just if they have stopped the overstimulation, or if they have asked a spiritual person for help. Even if you see their problem, you see that on a spiritual level, you feel their emotions, because you are empty, and then you feel emotions from others. And even if you tell this person, hey, what's wrong? Why are you anxious? And they say, I'm not anxious. I'm not. They would never say. They are so embarrassed about their own emotions. Some of them reveal them and tell them, yeah, you are right. I have fear from this or that. And then you can help someone. That is the very first thing. When these persons are not embarrassed from their own emotions anymore. That's the first step to break out of their situation. What you can do to help them is to be as conscious as possible. Not only that you feel the emotions, because for you it's uncomfortable to feel emotions from others, because it is as if someone would throw his dirt on you. They not throw it consciously, but unconsciously this dirt flies to you. And that's not comfortable. But being aware also to maybe you also are not aware about only the emotions, but also if there is a person maybe who is ready that you can help him or her. Because the more people enter the spiritual world and the more spiritual people are on this world, the more consciousness comes in this world, and this is also better for every spiritual person, for the whole development of the mankind. If every person was spiritual, then we would not have wars anymore. And so it's good to help others to enter this world, but not about talking, oh, you must become spiritual. This person will not understand if you go in it with words. First, you have to break their mind. And this is, if you tell them, I feel your, you don't say that you feel the emotion, because this will appear creepy to them. You just say, why are you anxious? Or whatever you feel from them. You are in this situation a therapist, a friend therapist. Friends do so, a friend therapist in everyday life. And this is the very first step to maybe bring a new person in the spiritual world. And the last thing what you can do is to tell little bit spiritual things, but only very less. Only little salt in the soup. I do it in my lectures. I have ordinary lectures on a high school, and there is per hour only 1 or 2 words, or a small group of words, which brings the people in that direction. But all the other thing is what I have to learn in the high school. But in between there is a part when it's fitting, then there comes a small breeze of spirituality inside of it. But the whole topic is not about spirituality, but the small breeze is only to waken up the people a little bit. And this you can also do in everyday life when you talk with people. You can just tell, oh, it's cool to be here in the here and now. And you just talk out of your consciousness what you are feeling. And at this moment, it can be that this doesn't do anything with this person. But in long term, this will work in this person. And when you meet the same person later, maybe there's already the effect that this person has also more access to the here and now, because first it has heard it only from you, but words have might also, and this makes something with this person. In the spiritual world will work for you also. You don't have to give so much effort. It's enough only to see their emotions and to give help, so only to provide help. Not to help too much, and not to bring this person in this uncomfortable, embarrassing situation or so. Only you provide it, and if the person doesn't want, then he doesn't want. But if you want, you are there. And just if you talk only small breezes of spirituality, this also can, in long term, do something with the people. Hope this could help you, and hope you can raise the spiritual awakening of the world, spreading your light on others. If you have something to add, please let us know down below in the comments. Have a nice time. See you soon. Bye.